Hi guys, I'm gonna solve the second problem on the independent practice for the lesson in solving absolute value equations. So we have this equation right here. And remember, you guys got confused. A lot of you got confused when there's a -6 here. We can always take this equation and rewrite this term as -7 plus v, and then have this -6, the second term, come after. We can rewrite it like this, and it'll kind of help us see how exactly to isolate the absolute value. Now, on both of these, you can see that you have to move this -6 to the other side, and so we're going to add 6 on both sides. The whole point is to isolate the absolute value. So we have the absolute value of -7 plus v equals 15. Now, once we have isolated the absolute value, I'm going to split this absolute value into two equations. The positive version is going to be -7 plus v. Basically, we need to split it into two equations so we can remove the absolute value sign. And so this is basically exactly what you see, except for the absolute value. And then remember, we need a negative variation because the absolute value, also you have to consider the negative, because the absolute value makes the negative always positive. And so I'm going to take a -1 and put a parenthesis where my original absolute value sign used to be, equals 15. Let's go ahead and solve both of the equations. On this one, we just add 7 on both sides. So we have v equals 22. On this equation, I'm going to distribute this negative, so I get a 7 minus v equals 15. Subtract 7 on both sides. So I get a -v equals, that is an 8. Divide both sides by -1. So I get v equals -8. So my answers are v equals 22 or v equals -8. Those are my two answers for what v can be. And I can actually check that if I put it back in. 22 minus 7 is going to be 15. If I take it out of the absolute value sign, that's a plus 15. And if I take it out of the absolute value sign, it's still a plus 15. 15 minus 6 is a 9. If I put a -8 back in, -8. -7 minus -8 is -15. If I apply the absolute value, that's going to be a positive 15. Minus 6 is going to be still a 9. So those are my two answers on what v can be. And if you got that, well, good job.